principal at Clinton County High School, and typically we are not part of the KVEC community. We are usually with the GREC, and over the summer we were invited to become part of this Activating Catalytic Transformation team, and also known as ACT. And with me this morning I have Mr. Dalton, Lucas Dalton, that is our curriculum specialist, and we're going to talk just a little bit about our process that we've been going through over the last several months. One of the things that we are looking at is a theory of practice, or a problem that we find within our school. And we have actually physically surveyed our teachers, did kind of a survey there at the beginning of the school year in August, and basically found that communication was kind of an issue. There wasn't a whole lot as far as what teachers were wanting, but as we began to talk to those teachers more in our PLCs and in faculty meetings and individually, we found that engagement of students, motivation of students was really a problem that we needed to address. It's kind of like any community. When we look at our students, we have to think about what exactly is the motivation for them in the school to become more engaged in the classroom. As I've done several walkthroughs over the last little bit, and I think several of my faculty members as well, we are watching the students when we're in the classroom, and engagement again keeps popping up. Our students are very passively engaged and not necessarily as active engaged as we would like for them to be the majority of that learning process. So when we looked at our problem, and you should have got a handout, we kind of looked at, and excuse me while I put my glasses on because I can't see, we kind of looked at a school-wide system of high-yield instructional strategies that would engage our students in their own learning. And this should hopefully basically look at the engagement as far as the student themselves. It should be not necessarily the passive engagement, but also very active engagement. And this in turn would hopefully improve our student achievements and also student attendance. Attendance was one of our major issues as we talked to our teachers. We have also surveyed our students two different ways. We have surveyed them by getting different groups together. We brought together our student council and talked to them kind of in an informal setting, and kind of asked them about what did they want to see from the school, giving them the buy-in. And then we also did a paper survey about climate and culture, of what did they expect in the school, what did they see from administration, what did they see from our teachers. And again, being motivated in the classroom again comes up as a major issue for our students along with our teachers. When we started looking at how are we going to change this in this ACT theory of practice, we looked at some of our current resources and also strategies or talents that we had in place. And we have several older teachers that have been there for numerous years who had strategies that were already being very viable and usable in the classroom. And then, of course, we had a lot of young teachers that we have brought in this over the past several years. The young teachers, of course, are those that are very willing and motivated to learn and would like to incorporate new strategies. We have several teachers at the high school level to where those students are basically not as motivated, so we wanted to look at, through our PLC protocols, also looking at engagement, looking at our coaching protocols that we have been using over this current year, and also to kind of enhance our training on that. And then also use some of our PBIS kind of plans that are already in place. A couple of areas that we're using as levers or groups that we're going to be using is our community partners. We look at all stakeholders that would be involved with student engagement, and that would be engaging our school partners such as the KVEC team, using them for maybe site visits to come sit into our classrooms and do some walkthroughs and give us back some real feedback. It would also help to set up some site visits with other schools in this district that we are not necessarily as familiar with in this community with the KVEC group. And then also working with just increasing partnerships throughout our community. Within our own district, at the district level, we hope to use them by providing our professional learning within the school so that we can build skills and competencies. And then also in doing that, building, as one group had also mentioned, kind of like a playbook or an instructional guide list for our teachers, and kind of putting that together so that we have that instructional strategies that are being very successful in the classroom that we can incorporate into other classrooms for other teachers, and especially teachers who are coming in at the high school level that do not have teacher certification. They are doing the alternate certification, so they've not had those as far as going through the teacher program as most of us have done in the past. A lot of our new teachers don't have that, and they need that instructional playbook so that they can help those students to become more actively engaged. And that's what we're looking at for those groups, and then through the district part. As the principal, there's several things that I'm wanting to do as well, and I'm not reading each of these bullets, but please go through them. We're providing, of course, models of other schools to our teachers to develop their instructional strategies to engage our students. We also want to motivate our students, so we're wanting to make sure that there's buy-in and providing time and space and opportunity to give our students kind of a voice by collecting and preparing and displaying student work and also their learning. Collaborate with our teachers to develop a hypothesis about how to advance learning outcomes throughout the instructional strategies to actively engage our students. Provide personal professional learning for teachers so that they have the opportunity to modify their instruction as needed for our students. Again, attendance was a major issue, so we want to promote that attendance for our students to improve their student learning and achievement. Creating systems of maybe monthly rewards or things such as that, so that students who have these perfect attendance or successes, then we can recognize those students. We also want to create a unified system for PBIS. That's something I don't know if a lot of schools has used that. Last year was really our first year of initiating some of the PBIS, so we are trying to refine that for our students to give them a little bit more positive reinforcement for our students with that new intervention of PBIS. And then also, again, looking at ongoing surveying our teachers, our students, our faculty, our staff, even parents and other stakeholders within the community, so that those individuals, again, have a say and a buy-in. For our teacher part, we're looking at several things for them to examine models of other schools, since we're working with the KVEC group, hopefully to network with other schools that we are unfamiliar with, who has, of course, very good teachers already in place who are actively engaging students just for different ideals that we have not found before, and of course strategies that we have not used. So sending our teachers to other schools is one of the components for those teachers as a lever for kind of meeting our problem of practice. Collecting and preparing and displaying work, interpreting data and developing hypothesis as far as learning outcomes. We also use our data analysis. We use GradeCam in our PLCs and our PLC protocols, and of course using that data to conference with students and parents. Coaching is also going to be a big part of this. So our teachers, as we go into these, participating actively with coaching and just kind of learning from the processes. And it'll be a learning experience for myself and then also for our teachers as well. So some of the kind of outcomes in the short term that we would like to do is, again, create that playbook or list of instructional strategies to actively engage students. Display work and pictures, use our data analysis, and of course use coaching to develop. So our overall expectations, the last thing on here is for us to have a culture of using instructional strategies of high yields that engage our students in their own learning to improve student achievement and student attendance. Thank you.